Shalom,
Shalom.
saya dan Pastor Oscar adalah cousins.
Pastor Oscar and I, we are cousins.
Saya datang ke sini udah yang kedua kali ya.
This was my second time actually coming here.
Dulu saya datang 2017,
I came, the first time was back in 2017.
and my message is still around family.
Dan saya punya pesan-pesan masih di dalam tentang keluarga.
Karena saya pelayanan dari tahun 92 sampai hari ini.
Because I've been serving the Lord since the year of 1992 until today.
Ya, dan saya ketemu many children.
And I have encountered many children.
Dan saya ketemu dengan banyak keluarga-keluarga.
And I have met with a lot of families.
Dan saya lihat bahwa dari tahun ke tahun,
So I've seen from year to year,
manusia hidup
people live
itu karena nilai-nilai yang ada di dalam keluarganya.
because of the values that the family has.
So hari ini saya mau membahas mengenai footstep.
So today, I want to talk to you about footsteps.
Footstep kita itu apakah menjadi jejak saya ini adalah merupakan sebuah apa itu bicara tentang sebentar ya Kak Victor ya. Oke Kak Victor, ini banyak sekali. Oke. Waiting. Are you waiting for me? Oke.
You can put it up, Faith.
Apakah jejak saya merupakan contoh
So are my footprints or my footsteps becoming an example
atau merupakan batu sandungan?
or a stumbling block?
Sebab kalau orang hidup itu pasti ada jejak kehidupan.
Because when people leave, they would leave some footprints.
Bahkan orang mati aja bisa meninggalkan jejak.
Even people who are dead also leave a legacy or footprints.
Karena orang mati itu pernah hidup.
Because dead people have ever lived before.
Nah, tinggal begini, waktu dia hidup, jejaknya itu mau diikutin atau mau ditinggalin.
So the thing is whether his or her footprints or legacy should be followed or not.
Kehidupan yang ada yang dia tampilkan itu enak diikutin atau ditinggalin.
Is her life or his life something that would be pleasant to follow or not?
Di follow back, or di unfollow.
So we should follow them or we should unfollow them.
Yang paling gak enak kalau sampai di delete.
It's not good if we have to delete it.
Kamu masih hidup tapi kamu gak dianggap.
So it's like we are still alive but nobody actually cares about us.
Kamu ngomong gak didengar.
We speak something, nobody really cares about what we say.
Kamu berbuat sesuatu, kamu gak dianggap.
We do something but nobody really cares about what we do.
So, sepertinya kamu hidup tapi sebenarnya kamu gak ada.
We are alive but we are actually not alive. It's like, you are becoming an invisible.
So hari ini bicara tentang jejak, saya mau bicara adalah sebuah pepatah yang berkata, buah jatuh gak jauh dari pohonnya.
So I'm going to talk about footsteps, and there's a saying in Indonesia. It says the fruit will not fall far from the tree.
Jadi saya belajar ya selama bertahun-tahun pelayanan.
So I've learned after so many years being in the ministry,
Behavior dari anak-anak itu dipengaruhi oleh orang tuanya.
so the behaviors of the children actually are being influenced by the parents.
Kalau anak yang suka ngomong teriak-teriak dan nuntut serta maksa-maksa,
So if the children like to scream and demand or nag, for something,
karena saya lihat mamanya tuh kalau ngomong sama anaknya juga begitu.
because the way the mom treats the kids also the same way.
Kalau saya melihat now mamanya itu medsosis. I know it that you cannot make it. Medsosis means media social access.
So if the mom is on the social media all the time,
Mama zaman sekarang ini ya.
so the mothers in the modern days today,
Selalu doing seperti ini nih.
this is what they always do with their phones.
or something doing like this. Lalu mereka input, lalu di-upload ke media sosial.
And they take all the pictures and they will upload all the pictures into their social media.
Dan anak-anaknya tuh ngeliat.
And the kids are watching them.
Lalu beberapa waktu kemudian mereka lakukan hal yang sama.
And over time, they would learn from the parents and they would do the same thing.
Kadang-kadang kita ngelihat itu keterlaluan gitu ya.
Sometimes we think it's kind of, it's, what do you call? It's kind of like out of boundaries.
Too much gitu ya.
It's
Kalau
kind of too much.
bahasa Indonesia bilangnya lebay.
Yeah, it's too much.
Too much. But it is happen.
Tapi itu terjadi.
Dan itu membentuk cara hidup ke depannya anak tersebut.
And that shapes the future of their children.
Bahwa mereka hidup dikelilingi oleh image orang lain.
That they live surrounded by the images of other people.
Mereka hidup dari penilaian orang lain, like or dislike.
They live because based upon what people like or dislike them.
Sehingga sulit zaman ini mencari orang yang origin.
So it's hard these days to find people who are original
Karena mereka hidup di belakang topeng.
because they live behind a mask.
Yang penting good image.
What matters is having a good image.
Nah, akibatnya kalau itu terjadi,
So when that kind of stuff happens,
kita akan kecewa ketika bertemu orang-orang yang jejak hidupnya ternyata di ujungnya itu gagal.
so we get disappointed when we encounter people who at the end of their lives somehow they fail.
Berapa banyak orang yang hidup ya seolah-olah kita pikir dia benar, nggak taunya ujung-ujungnya dia jatuh.
How many times, we see and we witness people, at the end of their lives, they don't leave a good legacy.
Kita kenal orang-orang hebat yang kita pikir luar biasa memimpin, nggak taunya dia jatuh.
We know great people and we encountered great people, but somehow at the end of their lives, they do not leave a good legacy.
Kita kagum artis-artis hebat yang kita pikir wow luar biasa, nggak taunya ujung-ujungnya dia jatuh.
And we are so amazed with, great artists or actors, but at the end of the day, they also fail.
Kita kenal orang tua kita dan kita pikir dia adalah panutan, nggak taunya mereka bukan.
And we know our parents and, we kind of look up to them and we see them as an example, but at the end of the day, they fail.
Maaf ya kalau saya katakan gini,
Sorry if I have to say this thing.
anak-anak kenal kita sebagai parents, mereka ikutin kita, mereka kira kita benar, nggak taunya ujung-ujungnya enggak.
So our children will look up to us and they see us as their parents, but at the end of the day, actually we fail them.
So akhirnya ada orang-orang yang jadi pendoa tapi anaknya pengedar narkoba.
There are people who are, the parents are intercessors, but they love to pray, but the kids somehow are drug dealers.
Di Indonesia juga banyak hamba-hamba Tuhan yang luar biasa, tapi ternyata anaknya itu jatuh di dalam obat-obatan atau pergaulan bebas.
Even in Indonesia, the parents are in the ministry, they are pastors, but somehow the kids are lost and they are, somehow trapped in dark and using drugs.
Kenapa bapaknya kadang-kadang bagus, anaknya hancur?
Why sometimes the father is good, but the kids terrible?
Kenapa anaknya bagus tapi bapaknya dulu hancur?
Or either way, the kids could be good, but the father is terrible.
Dalam Alkitab ada kisah tentang 3 raja.
In the Bible, there is a story about 3 kings.
Yang pertama itu Raja Yotam,
Number 1 is the king Jotham.
yang kedua Raja Ahaz,
The second one is King Ahaz.
yang ketiga Raja Hizkia.
And the third one is King Hezekiah.
Ini lucunya adalah Raja Yotam lakukan yang benar,
So the funny thing is, King Jotham did what is right,
tapi Raja Ahaz lakukan yang salah.
but King Ahaz did what was wrong.
Waktu itu kerajaan dibagi 2, Israel dan Yudea.
So the kingdom was divided into 2, Israel and Judea.
Raja-raja Israel ini hidup menurut raja-raja dan cara hidup orang kafir.
So the kings in the kingdom of Israel live according to the Gentiles.
Tapi raja-raja Yehuda itu kan dipilih oleh Tuhan sebagai keturunan murni dari Tuhan.
But the kings in Judea somehow lived chosen by God to live according to the godly way.
Mereka dipimpin oleh nabi-nabi yang mendampingi para raja untuk memimpin umat Israel.
They are guided by prophets so that they can lead the kingdom in the right way.
Maksud saya umat Tuhan ya.
The people of God.
Tapi Raja Yotam waktu dia hidup dia punya anak namanya Ahaz.
But King Jotham had a kid named Ahaz.
Raja Yotam lakukan tepat semua yang Tuhan minta untuk dibuat.
So the King Jotham did everything that God instructed him to do.
Dalam 2 Tawarikh itu bahkan dikatakan Raja Yotam mengarahkan hidup kepada Tuhan, mengarahkan hidup pada Tuhan.
In 2 Chronicles, the Bible records that he purposes his heart to the Lord.
Tetapi kok bisa anaknya Raja Ahaz melakukan 180 derajat hal yang berbeda dari bapaknya?
But how come the son Ahaz did 180 degrees, different direction from the father?
Sehingga dia adalah raja yang paling jahat yang pernah hidup di antara keturunan raja-raja Yehuda.
And he became one of the most wicked kings in the kingdom of Judah.
Dan Tuhan tuh merasa murka dengan semua kegiatan yang dilakukan seorang raja yang bernama Ahaz itu.
And God gets so angry with everything that this king did, King Ahaz.
Salah satu ya yang sering Ahaz buat adalah mengorbankan anak-anaknya.
And one of the things that he did wrong and wicked was to sacrifice children.
Itu adalah kelakuan orang-orang kafir untuk menyenangkan hati dewanya, mempersembahkan hidup anak-anaknya.
So that's what the Gentiles normally do. They would sacrifice their kids to their gods.
Hanya menyelamatkan dirinya supaya keturunannya tetap eksis, tapi dia korbanin anaknya.
So they want to save their generation, but they would sacrifice their children.
Bahkan yang paling konyol, dia tutup rumah Tuhan.
Even what, the most wicked things they did, they closed down all the houses of worship.
Sehingga orang-orang tidak bisa beribadah kepada Tuhan.
And they couldn't go to the temples to worship the Lord.
Untung akhirnya dia mati.
Thank God he finally died.
Keturunannya Hizkia melakukan hal yang benar.
And then the next generation came up was Hezekiah.
Saya sampai bertanya-tanya sama Tuhan waktu saya ketemu kisah ini.
So I was kind of asking God a lot of questions when I read this story.
Kenapa waktu Yotam sebagai raja yang benar memerintah, kok anaknya bisa kelakuannya sebejat itu?
How come King Jotham somehow he did what was right in before God, but somehow his son did the other way around?
Mungkin
Maybe
waktu Raja Yotam berkuasa,
when King Jotham reigned over the kingdom,
Yotam gak punya waktu untuk anaknya.
he did not have enough time for his son.
Yotam tidak melibatkan keturunannya untuk masuk di dalam urusan kepemerintahan.
He did not involve his kids to be a part of what he was doing.
Mungkin setiap pendapat atau pertanyaan yang Ahaz lakukan itu di-ignore sama Yotam.
So perhaps whatever Ahaz was trying to question the father, the father would just ignore him.
Setiap masukan yang berusaha Ahaz berikan, Yotam buat hilang atau ignore.
So every feedback or inputs that the son Ahaz was trying to propose to the father would say no to them.
Bukankah kesalahan yang sama sering dilakukan orang tua yang ada?
Don't you think that we also as parents we do the same kind of mistakes?
Saya kenal seorang om pengusaha hebat di Indonesia.
I've known a person, a businessman, an older man.
Dia bilang begini, sekarang ini saya udah gak punya anak untuk nerusin usaha saya.
He said, I don't have somebody that would continue my successful business.
Lalu saya kenal seorang tante yang begitu hebat, jago cateringnya.
And you know apa he knows?
Saya tahu.
Okay. But I know an auntie, an older woman who has a catering business.
jago masak,
She loves to cook.
bisnis masakannya berkembang.
Her catering business is, blooming.
Tapi anak cucunya nggak ada yang mau lanjutin.
But none of his kids or grandkids would continue her business.
Karena waktu si Enti ini berjuang struggle untuk mendirikan bisnisnya,
Because when the aunt was trying to raise, and grow her business,
dia kirim anaknya sekolah keluar.
so she would send the kids out for school.
Dia berpikir bahwa dia melakukan yang terbaik,
She thought that she has done what's the best,
tapi apa yang sedang dia buat, dia tidak libatkan keturunannya.
but what she was trying to build, she did not involve the kids in it.
Begitu pula dengan church atau gereja.
And the same way like, how church works.
Waktu para gembala sedang berjuang untuk mendirikan pelayanannya,
When the pastors or the leadership is trying to build or grow the ministry,
seringkali anak-anaknya itu terantar dan tidak diikutsertakan dalam pelayanan.
and unfortunately the younger generation is not being involved in the ministry.
Sehingga ketika anaknya besar lalu mereka masuk dalam gereja papanya,
So when these young kids, grow up and then they begin to attend the church with the parents,
mereka jadi awkward, nggak tahu mau bikin apa.
and they feel awkward because they don't know what to do.
Mereka nggak mau melanjutkan bisnis papanya karena mereka nggak kenal cara papanya.
They do not want to continue the business of the father because they have no idea how to run the business.
Mereka nggak mau melakukan apapun untuk perusahaan papanya karena mereka nggak tahu sistem dan cara kerjanya.
They don't want to run the business because they don't know how everything works in the business.
Sehingga yang terjadi adalah mereka membangun usahanya sendiri, pelayanannya sendiri, dan kegiatannya sendiri.
So what happens as a result, they would do their own thing, their own ministry, their own business.
Ada rasa bahwa oke, itu mainan kamu papa, ini mainan saya.
So it's like, that is your thing, Dad, and this is my thing.
Lalu apa yang dilakukan oleh papanya itu nggak akan pernah dia lakukan karena dia merasa begini, saya tertolak ketika saya mau ikut campur bagian kamu.
So what the father is doing, the son or the daughter would not want to be involved because they never get involved from the beginning.
Yes. Nah itulah yang terjadi. Ini yang disebut sebagai generation gap.
And this is what is happening, and it's called generational gap.
Orang-orang sering tanya ya, kok bisa papanya pendeta hebat, anaknya narkoba?
Sometimes people ask the question, how come the father is a great pastor but the children somehow involved in drugs?
Mestinya kita belajar tentang begini, salahnya di mana ya?
And we were wondering, where was the fault, the mistake?
Cuman orang lebih seneng ngomongnya begini, salahnya siapa sih, mamanya atau papanya?
But people would kind of gossip, saying, is it the father or the mother's mistake?
Orang lebih tertarik urusan gosipnya daripada urusan knowledge-nya.
So people somehow more interested in gossiping than trying to, know the truth.
Salahnya itu karena kita nih ada hidup di dalam generation gap.
The mistake or the missing link is because we are living in this generational gap.
Bertahun-tahun hidup di dalam pelayanan anak, saya melihat dari zaman ke zaman, generasi saya begitu jauh. Hari ini kalau saya cerita tentang Superman, satu pun anak nggak ada yang
Because I've been involved so much with children, so I see even today when I talk about Superman, none of the kids would get so wowed. Wow.
anak-anak zaman sekarang mainnya Roblox.
Now the kids these days they play Roblox.
Jadi waktu kita ngomong tentang Marvel sekarang, I'm so sorry, mereka udah nggak begitu ikutin.
So I'm not following so much about what the kids are doing these days.
Itu bikin saya ngerasa gini, struggle juga ya.
So it makes me feel like, it's quite struggle for me.
Tahu nggak apa yang menjadi masalah dari generation gap?
So what is the problem with generational gap?
Generation gap itu bicara tentang urusan-urusan di mana kita merasa ada satu gap ada satu jarak dengan keturunan kita.
So it's talking about there is a gap between us and the next generation.
Generasi atas
The older generation,
selalu mau minta, bukan selalu, memang harus dihormati anak-anaknya.
they kind of expect, the kids would give them a respect.
Tapi anak zaman sekarang ketemu orang tua itu nggak begini. Halo ma, halo pak, atau halo mam, halo pak, nggak menyapa.
But kids in these modern days, they would not, give that warmth, greetings or hugs or something like that.
Anak-anak kecil itu kalau ketemu sama orang lain itu begini dong.
So now the kids, what they would do, they would just play on their phone and just walk away.
Di sini ada auntie, di sini ada grandma lewat, mereka cuman gini.
There's auntie, there's grandma, and they just keep walking.
Kadang-kadang kita sebagai orang tua udah sering saya lihat anaknya mesti diginin. Ayo ke susunan.
Sometimes as a parents, that's what we do as a parent, we would just
Dewa push. Sampai saya berpikir ini salahnya siapa?
So it came to my attention, whose fault was this?
Orang tua itu minta didengar dan diikutin nasihatnya.
So the older generations would expect, their voice to be heard, to be respected.
Tapi anak-anak itu selalu minta dimengerti.
But the younger generation nowadays, they would love to be understood.
Anak-anak minta dipercaya.
They would love to be trusted more.
Boleh nggak saya bawa mobil papa yang baru?
Dad, can I drive your brand new car?
Boleh nggak saya yang runningin semua acara di tempat ini?
Can I run everything here?
Boleh nggak saya pergi 3 kota lebih jauh dari tempat ini?
Is it okay if I live about 3 cities away from here?
Sementara orang tua butuh anak-anaknya terbuka dan jujur.
And the parents also expect the kids to be open and honest.
Tapi anak-anak lebih minta orang tuanya jangan banding-bandingin mereka dengan yang lain.
But the parents would want the kids not to compare themselves to others.
Membandingkan anak itu adalah bom waktu.
Comparing children is like a time bomb.
Oh, lihat nih Koko lebih pinter loh dari kamu.
Look at your older brother is smarter than you.
Coba kalau sekarang kita udah segede gini, kita punya anak-anak, lalu papa mama kita yang udah tua tuh masih ngomong begini. Adik kamu tuh lebih tahu diri lu daripada kamu. Enak gak?
You imagine if our parents, we are already this old and our parents would say, your younger sibling is actually better than you.
Kok kamu lebih gendut sih daripada cici kamu?
How come you're fatter than your older sister?
Dibandingin gak enak.
It doesn't feel good when you are compared.
Tapi orang tua seringkali ngomong seperti itu.
But many times or oftentimes parents would say that kind of
Itu
stuff.
membuat jarak semakin gede.
And that creates the generational gap to be bigger.
Nah, apa yang harus kita lakukan untuk memperkecil jarak?
Now, what should we do to bring the gap smaller?
Hanya ada satu cara, yaitu kolaborasi. Coba ngomong, collaboration.
There is one thing that is collaboration. Say it, collaboration.
Coba ngomong ke sebelahnya, collaboration.
Say it, collaboration.
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 Nah, kolaborasi itu dimulai dengan cara yang paling simple.
So we start with one simple thing.
Listen to.
Mendengarkan.
Nah, saya punya mama tapi sudah meninggal.
I had a mother and she passed away.
Saya selalu sibuk sampai nggak bisa dengerin dia.
I was so busy and I would not listen to her.
Waktu itu kita ada mau pindah-pindahan rumah.
So in that season we were trying to move to a different house.
Sementara saya lagi sibuk mau urusan retret.
And I was also in the middle of busy preparing for a retreat.
Saya tidur satu ranjang sama dia.
So I was sleeping together with my mom.
Saya naik ke ranjang, saya pikir dia udah tidur.
I got up on the bed and I thought she was already asleep.
Toto dia ngomong begini,
And suddenly she said something like this.
nanti mau pindah, sebaiknya kita pindah kemana?
If we want to move the house, where should we move?
Saya pikir dia nanya soal kamu dari mana dan urusan apa.
I thought she was asking where have you been and what kind of stuff that you're dealing with.
Karena saya nggak peduli apa yang dia ngomong.
because I was kind of ignoring what she was trying to ask me about.
Saya bilang gini, di Bogor.
And I said, in Bogor.
Bogor itu dengan tempat tinggal saya itu sekitar 1,5 jam.
So from where I live to Bogor is about an hour and a half away.
Mama saya langsung bangun nyalain lampu, dia bilang gini, jauh amat.
And then my mom got up and turned on the lights and she said, it's too far.
Saya terus lihat ke dia, saya bilang gini, Bogor mah buat retret, ayolah itu tempat yang biasa dipakai gitu.
So I responded to her, it's Bogor ma, and it's yes, it's for the retreat.
Dia nggak nyambung, saya nggak nyambung.
So we didn't connect with each other
Karena kita nggak saling mendengar.
because we were not listening to each other.
Sampai untuk hal-hal kecil itu sering ribut karena nggak saling mendengar.
Even for small things, we couldn't connect because we were not listening enough to each other.
Dia bilang begini, itu tuh orangnya ada di situ, orangnya ada di situ.
She said one day, the person is right there.
Saya berpikir gitu dia mau ke situ.
I thought that she wanted to go there
Karena lagi dia ngomong saya lagi HP-HP-an.
because when she was talking, I was busy on my phone.
Jadi waktu saya antar ke sana, saya bilang gini, di mana? Sementara yang dia maksud adalah siapa?
So when I took her there, she said, this is not what I wanted. She was asking who was there.
So hari ini jangan ulang kesalahan saya.
So please do not repeat my mistake.
Kamu punya anak, Chris.
You have children, Chris.
Kamu harus dengerin dia.
You need to listen to them.
Waktu kamu dengerin dia, dia akan dengerin kamu.
When you listen to them, they would listen to you.
Halo moms, you have a kids. Start to listen to them. So they will listen to you. Itu adalah kolaborasi yang perlu dibuat. Kolaborasi lain yang perlu dibuat adalah mempercayakan.
So that is the first collaboration. The second collaboration is to trust.
Orang-orang yang udah tua itu seringkali nggak paham dunia anak muda, apalagi urusan gadget.
So people who are older sometimes cannot understand the young generation, especially when we talk about gadgets.
Tapi karena kita kelamaan jadi orang tua yang
Because-
selalu paham banyak hal,
Because we've been old so long and we thought that we know everything about everything.
waktu kita mau minta tolong anak, kita takut nggak percaya dia nggak paham yang kita mau.
And we are afraid to ask to our kids about something because we are afraid that they do not understand us.
Contoh simpel pesan makanan melalui online.
Very simple example is to order food online.
Mama saya bilang begini, pesenin bakmi ya, tapi sambelnya jangan dipakai, terus bawang-bawangnya banyak tuh aturannya.
So my mom would ask me to order online for noodles and she didn't want certain things.
Lalu saya bilang gini, pesen online aja.
So I told her just order online, it's simple.
Dia nggak percaya kalau bawang gorengnya itu bisa dapat banyak.
So she didn't believe that she would get more onions. I mean not onions, fried onions.
Jadi dia mau kita datang ke situ lalu ngeliatin tuh tukangnya bikin, dia puas.
So she expected me to go there, buy the noodles and get plenty of onions.
Dia nggak percaya kalau yang beli itu pakai online, dia takut tukang online-nya atau di Indonesia kita ada Gojek atau Grab. Dia takut tuh tukangnya tuh nggak menjalankan perintah dia.
So she was afraid she couldn't trust the deliverer, the delivery guy of the food. Somehow, they messed up the order.
Dia takut makan mie nggak ada bawang.
So she was afraid to eat noodles without the fried onions.
Jadi dia nggak percaya kalau saya bisa pesenin online.
So she couldn't trust me to order online.
Itu menimbulkan masalah karena akhirnya ribut, akhirnya nggak jadi pesen mie.
So it created a tension between both of us and we ended up not ordering anything.
Yang satu nggak percaya, yang satu merasa nggak dipercaya.
So one doesn't feel trusted and one doesn't trust.
Perlu kolaborasi.
It requires a collaboration.
Yang terakhir, kolaborasi mempersiapkan.
Number 3 is to prepare.
Kalau aja mama saya tahu dia bakal meninggal,
So if my mom knew that she was about to pass away,
pasti dia akan mempersiapkan semua hal urusan begini nih, yang simpel aja nih ya. Nih ya, kalau kamu mau makan risol, caranya begini.
So she would prepare something, even a very simple thing to prepare a certain dessert called risoles. This is how the way you do it.
Karena dia udah mulai berpikir gini, jenis kamu pasti nggak bisa masak karena kamu sibuk.
Because in the back of her mind, she already had a preconceived idea that for you, such a person like her, she's always busy with work, so she would not be able to cook.
Jadi dia tidak mempercayakan dan tidak mempersiapkan hal-hal apa yang harus anak-anaknya buat sehubungan dengan makanan enak itu.
So she didn't prepare what actually the daughter would love to eat.
Akibatnya sekarang mama saya nggak ada, satupun dari anak-anaknya nggak ada yang bisa bikin risol loh.
So now that my mom is no longer with us, none of her kids now knows how to make risoles.
Karena nggak ada kolaborasi di dalamnya.
Because there was no collaboration between us.
Untuk bisa berkolaborasi,
So in order for us to collaborate,
kamu butuh humbleness.
it requires humbleness or
Katakan
kerendahan hati.
humbleness.
I said humbleness.
Collaboration with humbleness.
Kolaborasi dengan kerendahan hati.
Collaboration with humbleness.
Kolaborasi dengan kerendahan hati.
Pernah jadi mama minta maaf sama anak?
Have you ever been as a mother to ask for forgiveness to your
Pernah
kids?
jadi papa belajar sesuatu dari anak?
Have you ever said sorry as a father to your kids?
Kadang-kadang sorry ya, papa mama sorry ya.
I'm sorry, all parents here.
Terlalu gengsi untuk minta maaf sama anak.
Sometimes we are so prideful and we cannot say sorry to our kids.
Kita tahu kita salah, tapi kita diem-diem aja.
We know we were wrong, but we just stay quiet.
Karena kita diem-diem aja, kita berpikir gini, kalau saya lakukan yang lebih baik lagi, kasih dia makan yang dia suka, bawain dia, setrikain bajunya, cuciin bajunya, kita pikir kita udah minta maaf.
Because we thought, we don't have to say sorry to them. We just do what they like, what our kids like and enjoy. So we began to treat them, ironing their clothing or cook certain food for them. And we thought that we have said sorry to them.
Ternyata itu masih menimbulkan luka.
But the wound, it remains in the heart.
Ada satu kata-kata yang saya sampai tegur mama saya karena waktu itu dia bilang begini, kamu udah gede tapi kamu gak bisa apa-apa.
So my mom said to me one day, you are already an adult, but you cannot do anything.
Umur saya waktu itu 48 tahun.
So I was 48 years old.
Itu cukup menyakitkan bukan?
That kind of quite offensive to me.
Kalau dia ngomong sama anak umur 5 tahun gak apa-apa.
If she would have said it to a 5-year-old kid, maybe it was fine.
Nah daripada dia tahu dia salah tapi dia gak mau ngaku minta maaf.
She knew that she didn't say it right, but she didn't want to say sorry.
Dan saya tahu ini pasti akan menimbulkan gap.
And I know it would create a gap.
Jadi saya mengusulkan sama dia.
So I proposed to her.
Saya bilang sama dia, Mah,
I said, Mom,
apa gak sebaiknya sekarang mama minta maaf deh.
why don't you just ask for forgiveness from me?
Gini aja Mah, ngomong gini aja. Aduh Tia, maafin mama ya. Gitu aja.
Just say, oh Tia, just forgive me, okay?
Saya pasti rilis deh.
And I would feel released.
Terus dia sambil ngomongnya gak enak dia gini. Ya udah mama minta maaf.
And she finally said it, please forgive me.
Terus saya bilang gini, kita hamba Tuhan Mah.
And I told her, we are the servants of God, Mom.
Jangan ngomong begitu lagi Mah.
Please kindly do not say that kind of stuff anymore.
Hati Tia sakit ngedengernya.
Because I'm offended.
Kadang-kadang dia ngebandingin saya dengan cici atau adik saya.
So sometimes she would compare me with my older sibling or my younger sibling.
Dia bilang gini, nanti kalau mama udah gak ada, jangan-jangan lu jadi orang yang terhilang karena gak pernah gabung sama Ci sama adek lu.
So she said, if I would have, I would not live anymore, perhaps you would be lost because you never have a time together with your older sibling or your younger sibling.
Yes. Lalu dia bilang begini,
And she said also,
Cici kamu dan adik kamu jauh lebih baik dari kamu.
your older sister and your younger sibling are much better than you.
Sakit banget rasanya.
I feel like so, hurtful.
Saya diem waktu itu,
I just stayed quiet,
tapi kira-kira 2 hari berikutnya,
but 2 days later,
saya ngomong di mobil sama dia.
I talked to my mom in the car.
Kalau di depan Tia, Mama ngomong seperti itu, apakah di depan Cici dan adik saya, kamu ngomong hal yang sama, yaitu mereka tidak sebaik saya. Paham maksudnya?
Mom, if you talk to me, to Tia, that way, do you talk the same way to my siblings, my older and my younger siblings?
Sebab saya tersinggung.
Because I got offended.
Mah, boleh nggak jangan ngomong begitu lagi?
Mom, is it okay if you don't talk like that anymore?
Saya sakit dengarnya.
It was hurtful for me.
Humbleness itu susah.
Humbleness is quite difficult,
Terutama buat senior citizen.
especially for older people, elderly,
Sebab mereka menuntut yang muda respect.
because they would demand the younger to respect them.
Tetapi kalau yang senior citizen mulai starting to be humble,
But when the elderly start to humble themselves,
itu akan memperkecil jarak.
that would decrease the gap between the two.
Itu akan mengumpulkan anak-anak.
That would gather all the children.
Dan yang terakhir saya mau bicara tentang
And lastly,
apakah kita akan mengulang kesalahan yang sama
are we going to repeat the same mistake?
atau kita akan starting untuk memulai yang benar
Or are we going to start doing what is right?
supaya teladan hidup kita itu tidak jadi batu sandungan.
So that our example, our legacy doesn't become a stumbling block.
Kalau hari ini udah dengar,
If you have heard this message today,
mau nggak dengan lebih rendah hati mengakui semua kesalahan itu?
would you mind humbling yourself before the Lord and accepting or acknowledging our mistakes
Supaya kita nggak ada gap.
so that we would get rid of this gap?
Yang tua, mau nggak untuk bisa lebih terbuka dan rendah hati memaafkan semua hal yang tidak seprinsip dengan dia?
So the older people would, forgive the younger because of the principles perhaps are not the same as what they believe in.
Nah, mau nggak yang lebih muda jangan pasang gengsi untuk datengin ngomong begini. Boleh kita bicara, Mam, Pa?
Or we as the younger, would come to our parents and tell the parents, Mom, Dad, can we talk actually?
Karena saya melihat setelah papa mama nggak ada,
Because I see when the parents are gone
siblings yang hidup,
and the siblings are still alive,
kualitas siblings yang hidup ya.
the quality of life between the siblings,
Kalau mereka hidup dan melihat bagaimana orang tuanya itu humbleness,
so when they see the parents somehow have the quality of humility,
mereka akan mudah memaafkan satu dengan yang lain.
and it will be easier for the siblings also to forgive one another.
Kalau mereka melihat parents tidak membanding-bandingkan,
And if we see the parents will not compare between the kids,
siblings akan hidup untuk saling memaklumi.
and the siblings begin to have more understanding between one another.
Sebab setelah orang tua nggak ada,
Because once the parents are gone,
siblings akan bisa hidup bergantung satu dengan yang lain.
and the siblings are able to depend on one another.
Siblings pernah hidup dalam perut mama.
Because the siblings have ever lived inside of the mom's womb.
Bagaimana mungkin ketika keluar dari perut mama kita jadi orang lain?
And it does not make sense when they come out of the mom's womb, they become somebody else.
Sok butuh kerendahan hati
So it requires humility
untuk memulai satu kebenaran.
to start something right.
Menjadikan hidup kita sebagai teladan.
So to make our lives to become a legacy,
Bukan batu sandungan.
not as a stumbling block.
Paham?
Is that understood?
Saya mau ajak kita buka terakhir dalam 3 Yohanes 1 ayat 4.
Let's read together from 3 John.
Bagiku tidak ada sukacita yang lebih besar daripada mendengar bahwa anak-anakku hidup dalam kebenaran.
I have no greater joy than to hear that my children walk in truth.
Kebanggaan kita adalah ketika anak-anak kita hidup di dalam kebenaran.
Our joy is when our kids walk in truth.
Oma saya hamba Tuhan, punya anak-anak hamba Tuhan, dan kami cucu-cucunya hamba Tuhan juga.
So my grandma was a servant of God, the kids and we as the grandkids are all servants of God.
Tante saya ini mamanya hamba Tuhan.
My auntie, her mom was also a servant of God.
Lalu tante saya ini hamba Tuhan.
And my auntie is a servant of God.
Dan sepupu saya ini juga hamba Tuhan.
And my cousin is now also a servant of God.
Tahu, saya rasa kalau semua orang-orang yang ada di atas kita melihat bagaimana keturunan yang saat ini hidup.
So if we see from the top generation till now, the way they live,
Sukacita terbesarnya bukan karena kita kaya raya.
the great joy is not about riches or wealth.
Sukacitanya bukan karena kita jadi orang terpandang dan jadi orang yang hebat.
The joy is not being a well-known or being a great people.
Sukacitanya adalah karena kita juga terdaftar di dalam kerajaan sorga.
But the joy is knowing that we are also serving together in the kingdom of God.
That's the greatest joy.
Itulah sukacita terbesar.
Mari bangkit berdiri.
Let's all rise together.